let's talk about what it's like to make something in 2025. If you're a writer or an artist, if you like to dance, if you like to do video, you are living in probably the most exciting, weird, anxiety-inducing creative periods in all of human history. Because on the one hand, we have so much more information, so many more tools, so many more opportunities than ever before. But on the other hand, we don't really know what things are going to be like in a few years. You know, with things like AI, new tool, it's much more confusing than it's ever been before. And while it's never been easier to create, figuring out what that means for you can be a little tough. So let's talk about it. We really are in a golden age of learning right now. If you want to master something, or not master, if you want to get reasonably okay at something, you can go on YouTube, look up a 10-minute tutorial, find a 10-hour deep dive. You know, if you want to get really good at cinematography, color correction, grading, learn how to mix and master an album, there are people who are willing to share their information. There are courses you can find, sometimes paid, sometimes free. You can find plugins and tutorials all over the place. And every skill that you could want to develop is available for you to do so. In a lot of ways, the gatekeepers are gone, or at least there are a whole lot fewer of them than there used to be. You don't need a publisher if you want to write a book or share a book with other people. You don't need a record label to release your music. And a lot of the people who are very successful doing that today are taking more independent, bespoke routes to get their stuff out there. And that's a really powerful thing, because it means that more and more people with more and more ideas and more voices and more diverse backgrounds and opinions and whatever can share those things with the world, for good and for bad. It means that there are a lot more opportunities for people to be able to create and do things and explore than ever before, and more opportunities for people who are looking to consume content or support creators to be able to do so. Plus, when you have things like remote work, when you have things like the internet, it opens those doors even further, because people who don't live near big cities can get really cool and creative jobs. People who don't live in big creative hubs like LA or New York, they can still have access to some of those same opportunities. And even if you're just creating something from your bedroom or a garage or your local coffee shop, you can create something that can resonate and do really, really well in a wide range of places. In a lot of ways, it's democratized the way that we've created and the way that we're able to create. And that's a really good thing in a lot of ways. And with that freedom comes a lot of baggage, right? I mean, how do you stand out when everybody else is creating nowadays? It's not that it was easier years and years ago to create, to make cool things, but it probably was a little bit easier to stand out because stuff was more exclusive. And if you had big, unique, bold ideas and were doing them in unique ways, you could kind of cut through the noise in a way that maybe you can't today. Plus, when you add on things like algorithms and you have entire systems where you're going onto YouTube or Instagram or wherever and you're putting content and you're hoping that it'll get out there, but you have a system that's actively kind of maybe pushing this person down and lifting this person up and whatever, it becomes hard to know, well, is this idea going to do well? Is it going to resonate? How is it going to grow? And then you have to build these skills that maybe you wouldn't have had to build 10, 20 years ago. Now you have to know SEO, and you have to optimize, and you have to, learn about metadata, and and it's like I just want to write in a notebook. I want to draw a picture. I want to tap dance on the side. I don't want to learn about this stuff. And then to layer things on top of it, you're comparing yourself to other people, whether you want to or not, and other people are comparing you too. Not just are they better, but what are they doing better? How are they doing better? Are they more affable? Are they more like magnetic, or whatever? And it's like you're competing in so many different arenas in so many different ways than you may have been before. And so not only are you trying to make things that you like, but you're saying, well, is it worth making the things that I like? Shouldn't I make something that other people would like? And if I make this thing now, but somebody else made this thing already, am I too late? Or nobody's making this thing, is it too niche? Is anybody going to like it? How do I do this? And then AI is everywhere. It can generate new images, it can write your essays, it can code apps, it can compose music, it can mimic voices. It's and it's still janky. Like, if you generate a piece of artwork, it's gonna have an extra thumb somewhere. It's gonna have teeth where there shouldn't be teeth. And, at best, it's just not gonna have any soul. It's gonna look really uncanny, and it's gonna make you feel weird things, but it's getting better. And it's getting better fast. And so when you are a creative in the year 2025, like, how do you feel about it? How do you navigate that? How do you plan for the future when you don't even know if what you're doing now is going to be obsolete in 6 months, a year, 5 years from now? What parts of the creative process are going to be automated? What jobs are there even going to be for people doing the thing that you're doing? And even if you are still able to do the things that you want to do, what's the value of what you're putting out there? If you draw this thing or you write this thing, are people going to value it so little that they're okay with, a sloppy version written by AI or done by AI, whatever that is? And are you going to be able to build up a network of clientele who value the same level of human touch and, attention to detail that you're able to give it? It's scary. And the good thing, I guess, is that, regardless of how you feel about the ethics of it or whatever, like, AI has the capacity, in a similar way to whenever the internet came around, to be a tool to make artists better. And in a lot of ways it has. Like, even though AI, generative AI, as we're seeing it a lot now, has only really been in the mainstream in a couple of years, like, AI tools and AI processing and all of these things have been on the back end of softwares that we've used for years and years and years. And so, like, AI at its core has the capacity to be a tool to make us do things better. And it's okay to admit that you're scared about it. I'm scared about it. What does AI mean for me as a writer? How am I going to write 5 years from now? Not am I going to be allowed to, but just like, what is that environment going to look like? What's the landscape going to look like? What are jobs going to look like? And whether or not I want to adapt to it, like, how am I going to have to adapt to it to live in the year 2030, the year 2040? And so it can be easy to say, why bother? Why even try? Why create? If I don't know if AI is going to take my job, if I don't know if I create something and put a lot of work into it, if anybody's going to see it, or if somebody's gonna undercut my price or do this thing or give it away for free or whatever, like, why even do it in the first place? And I think the answer is really simple, and it's because if you're a creative person, if you're a writer, an artist, a musician, like, you have to. It's a thing that's a part of all of us, is this idea that, like, we need to make something. We need to put things out there. Like, it is just like how we use words to communicate, how we feel and how we think, and, you know, just make simple ideas like using art and creating things as a way of interacting with the world. And I think the further that we get into this, you know, being overburdened with AI, social media, just the internet in general, like, people want more of the crusty, weird human stuff. You know, like, years ago, we thought that the best possible option for creating was to shave off all of the rough ends, to make things that were so polished and so smooth and so efficient that they lacked any of the, like, the redundancy of what it meant to be a human, you know, the human brain thinking through problems, and you know, and I think the further that we get away from all of this stuff, the more that we're going to see, no, the thing that we miss, the thing that we need is for somebody to have something to say that connects with us, not just hear the words, hear the things on paper, here's some art on a picture on my screen, like, but the, you know, there was a person who was communicating through that. I think that there is still going to be value. And so at the end of the day, like, making things in 2025 is weird, and it's okay to not feel great about it. You know, I don't always feel great about it. It feels scary, and it feels messy, and it feels gross sometimes, but it's also full of potential. You know, my ability to be able to share something on YouTube wouldn't have had it well, maybe I would have had it 20 years ago. YouTube's about 20 years old now, which is scary. 30 years ago. Wouldn't have had it 30 years ago. And so you're not alone. You're not alone for trying to figure it out. You know, everybody is trying to figure it out. And the people who are not, you're not alone for trying to figure it out. Everybody's trying to figure it out. And the people who say they aren't, or who are really confident, are probably lying, because I don't think anybody really just knows what things are going to look like, or what people are going to want, or how things are going to change. We just have to kind of be along for the ride. And the best thing that you can do as a creative person, somebody who likes to make things, is just make the thing that you like. You know, if you're trying to sell something, or you're trying to connect with people, yeah, figure out how to do SEO better and how to, like, optimize in certain ways. But at the end of the day, like, being yourself, being human, making something that you like, and doing things that matter to you is going to be something that connects with people always, and will always stand the test of time, regardless of what new technologies and new whatever and ever comes out. So keep doing your thing, keep pushing forward, trying new things, being a better creative, because 2025, 2026, 2030, it all looks the same. Nobody knows what's going to happen and what's going to work, what's going to do great. So you just do your human thing, make your stuff, be messy, and like what you do, and the world will be better for it. Promise.